There we go. It's working now. I just had to, when in doubt, unplug it and plug it back in. That's pretty much what I had to do. So, here we go. We are recording. Yeah. All right. Now that that's settled, what you want to talk about? Where should we begin?
I'll take the advantage to say, since you said that, I don't typically even like to talk about other people, but since they've made it a point to talk about me so well, I guess they kind of called me into action, and that's usually what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I stay to myself until somebody starts standing on my red button.
Yeah. Well, you want to know, you want to learn the most information about yourself. It's when you start listening to the rumors, and they're quite humorous. Yeah, like we were talking. I don't know if my volume. I feel like it's been forever since I've been on this computer. I don't know what my volume sounds like, but
Well, I have to say, some of the things that you have told me and enlightened me with, I have laughed. I really have. But then again, it's like, does this person ever look in the mirror? I mean, everything that they are saying about me is so convoluted and such a big lie. And it's like, oh my God, you know what? Clean off your own doorstep or throw rocks at your own glass house, but get out of mine, get out of my view.
yeah, before getting into even even before 2023, if somebody were to have said you're a witch, I would have been like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever, if big deal.
Yeah. Meh.
Um, Now if somebody says that to me, and I would almost rather them call me the B word, because in my mind and like we were talking before, like the changes that I have gone through myself with my journey with Christ over the last few years, I've have a huge change in my thought process and everything. And the connotations that come along with being accused of being a witch, you're basically telling people that I worship Satan, and that is not okay with me. And if I am trying to walk a path of putting myself out there and bringing people to Christ, the last thing I want is for somebody to be falsely accusing me of demonic practices and doing things.
Exactly. That's so, it's so harmful in
And
so many levels. It's just really, really bad.
and
And that's what triggered me to actually want to have this conversation with you is you said that said person has even called me that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have never been called that until affiliations with said person. It's incredible. It's like I'm probably one of the most strong Christian people you've ever met. I mean, just the way I raised my kids, just the way I came into Christianity, everything about me is so Christian. It is such an insult to have a rumor like that started about you.
you know, we as Christians are supposed to be helping build each other up and bringing other people to Christ. We are supposed to be doing everything we can to help lead our fellow humanity to Christ to find salvation. to live forever. And when you have what many people are calling the, godly individuals, you have these godly individuals who are accusing fellow Christians who are actually trying to do what they can to follow in Christ's footsteps. And I'm not saying follow as in trying to be perfect, but
No, but you definitely want to walk your talk. You definitely want to set the example or give the lead or help
mhm,
where you can. Um, Everything that has been said openly about many people, that, the shoe doesn't fit, but yet you got this glass slipper over here
mhm,
that I've
yeah.
seen so many stick their foot in. I'm surprised it's not shattered yet, but somehow they think they're the princess and they can just get away with all this other stuff and still call themselves Christian. And that's a problem. That's a big problem for me.
And I mean, it's a mockery to God. That's blasphemy to sit there and accuse somebody that you know for a fact. I mean, this person knows for a fact I am the furthest thing to a witch that I could ever be.
Absolutely.
I pray and I cry at night for those who are being led astray and led to
And how
down
many
that
times have
wrong
you prayed
path
for the
because
very person to call you a witch? How many times have you prayed for that very person that did something like that to you?
yeah,
I know I have.
hmm tears my heart apart. And
But
I still pray for
at
that
some point,
person, but
enough is just enough. Enough. It's overboard. It has gone overboard. The whole situation with people in this community and the way they want to point fingers at each other and fail to see that they're not perfect. And they may have those three fingers pointing back to themselves for the very thing that they're doing or calling out. It's ridiculous.
and the lies, the manipulation, the slander. I mean, talk about uh, coveting other people's wives. Um, the hatred, the anger, again, the manipulation that is carried on to try and coerce other individuals into doing their dirty work and attack other people within the community, other people within other channels. I mean, are we talking even necessarily the paranormal cryptid community? No, we're talking.
No, all of it. The ufology people are really bad. I've seen them just tear each other apart publicly on YouTube and even on TV. Um, it's in every genre that you're going to get into. You're going to have those that want to, you know, tear down the other guy because it makes themselves look better. It's all about ego.
Yeah,
And then you come right back into Christianity with it. And you find that a lot in the cryptozoology um, field, there's a lot of mixed bags when it comes to religion. But most of them are calling themselves Christian. But are they really walking that talk? Are they really performing like a Christian?
no, and they'll fool themselves. They'll say they are. They will. I mean, and
But they
that's
never look
another
in the
thing.
mirror.
Yep,
They never
they
look in the mirror.
they will go about their days, go about their lives in a way of saying that they are exempt from that. It's for everybody else except for them. Or, well, at the end of the day, I'll ask God for forgiveness and then I'm covered. You can't go through life, go through your days and just think, Christ died on the cross, so all I have to do is ask God to forgive me, and I've got a free pass. It's not a free pass either.
That's what irritates me the most, I think. And I think I had even said that in one of my rants somewhere. It's, you know, is it, no, actually, I think it was in a live in Abnormal Investigation or one of his sister channels. I was speaking to Mike McKee himself, and I said, there were people in that chat right then, and how they were chatting was so not Christian. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, it's not okay to be like that, Mike. I said, it's not okay to go, okay, he died on the cross for me, so now I get a free pass to sin.
Right.
Because no matter what, we're forgiven. That's what he said to me. That's what he said back to me. No matter what, we're forgiven. We shouldn't judge each other. We shouldn't this, we shouldn't that. But I mean, is that a get out of jail free card because you claim to be a Christian and now you can just go act and do whatever you want, say nasty things about people that are untrue, wiggle people against each other and put them in corners to attack each other because it suits you? Do we control everybody around us, our moderators, to the point that our moderators can't make friends with our followers? Why? Because, oh, well, we maybe have our eye on that particular person. We want to flirt with them, but we don't want said other people to go and tell that person what we're capable of, what we've done to others, and how we come off as a male chauvinist pig. No, it's disgusting. To be honest with you, I wish I could go back to the day that Dana had encouraged me because this guy was on Barton's page and it seemed like he turned over a new leaf. He's like, good, and I was like, I had him on block, and I had to follow what she was wanting me to help him, in his channel and help him get his kids back and whatever. I had to unblock the man to do that. And yet the story that he weaves is an entire different story that he told you I'm some terrible person to watch out for, but he didn't even know me. And he told you all kinds of drama stuff that didn't
Mm-hmm.
even exist. I'd never been a member of his group. I had never been on his friends list. I didn't have any part of it. He actually, when he came at me, he didn't even come at me under Shell Kaoki Dion. It's like, okay, so my family account had popped up somewhere in his messages or something, and that's what he messaged me on. And um, I shut him down quite quickly, but I kept it private. I didn't tell it to the whole world. I could have. I should have. I should be that person. If I had just $1 for every time some of these guys that are in the crypto field that have good reputations, even married ones, come at you. Oh God, I would get to take a vacation every year on the money.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back and let's explain some of this. Because I know people that will be watching this episode, this show, and go, wait, what's going on? Where did this turn? Where did we go? So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
nope, it's okay. So I do want to bring up the situation with my moderators. And I know I had kind of explained it to you earlier today. And there's a few moderators in here that will understand when they're watching this. Like Belinda will completely know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Ginny, Clough, they will definitely understand and know the whole situation. But originally, when I started this channel, um, I began this channel as a support network, a support group kind of thing to kind of give a that other pedestal, that other leg up for abnormal investigation for Michael.
Just four corners to the barn you were building.
Yes, exactly. Um, he was the one that kind of persuaded me and pushed me, yes, do it, you should do it, you should do it. And like I told you, one of the things I had gone back and forth with was this channel was, it was not my, I didn't have my soul put into this like a lot of YouTubers do. A lot of YouTubers put their heart and soul into their channel. And I said, there are more important things in my life than this channel. If this channel makes it, if it doesn't make it, it doesn't matter to me.
Hmm.
Things have changed since then. If this, and the way that I see it is, if this channel makes it and if it doesn't make it, again, is it going to break my heart? No. But if it makes it, that is all on God. That means that God has been able to give me the ability to do something that is ultimately what I would like to see, is that this helps bring other people to find Christ and know Christ through these horrible things that they may have experienced in their life. But that being said, when I
Or
started,
maybe just inspire the already knowing and the already Christian person to really take a look at themselves and their behavior and what are you doing? Maybe
well,
ask themselves, what am I doing? Look at yourself in the mirror. Really
mhm.
look at yourself and say, is this okay to do this, and this? No, I just knocked off 5 commandments right there. I better be doing something a little different.
Well, and that's another thing too. Through the things that I've gone through and with this channel, my journey has changed, and I have grown in faith and my religion and my journey getting closer to Christ. And I know where I stand. I know what I want. It took 46 years to get here, but I know at this point where my end goal is. And I can say for the first time in a very long time, I am not on the medications that I had been on years ago when I was struggling with anxiety and depression and all these other mental illnesses. I am able to manage now. I'm able to get through at this point now in my life through prayer and through God. And that I feel is that's all God. I'm not on my therapist is going to go, wait, what?
Well,
You just
okay,
quit taking it? What?
this therapist that listens to Jeff all the time and talks to Jeff all the time is going to tell you in the last month, I have seen so much peace in you start to settle, so much fall into place for you. I mean, when you pull yourself away from negativity and
Exactly.
toxic relationships and the occasion for the devil to walk in, and
Absolutely.
you get yourself away from that, look at the things that are good that have come your way since. I mean,
Mhm.
there has been a lot of good things fall in place for you. And during all that, you were battling with your own self-consciousness because of things people said to you, things people put you through.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not saying names. I'm just saying there's people out there that were really having a anchor effect on you that were
Right.
just holding you down and pulling you down. And to see you bloom now, here we are in spring, and we're right on the cusp of
Mhm.
Easter. And I see my friend that actually can laugh and it sounds genuine.
You're going to make me cry. Don't do
Well,
that.
it feels good. It feels good for me to see you go through that. I'm
Mhm.
so happy for you to see
Mhm.
you coming into that and coming back into yourself. And
It feels good
it
too.
all be in a good way.
Mhm.
And you get, through that, we've had a lot of talks. You've gone through a lot of healing. I mean, it's not been an easy road for you. You were lied to in so many ways and manipulated in so many ways. Some of the things I heard, um, I can't believe that you've gone through it. People don't know. the backstory, and I'm not going to air that out here and
Mhm.
tell your business, but I just want to say to the masses, you have no idea the kind of promises, the kind of things that were said, then the shutdowns and the jerkaways and the bring it back ups and the roller coaster ride that you have been on and endured, because unfortunately I do have the experience coming from an extremely hostile um, past relationship with an ex-husband, and it almost cost me my life. And I know what those toxic relationships, you start being the silent one. You start
Yeah.
holding everything in, and you start being like cement, or like, it's like a bag of rocks, but somebody just filled up, you up, and you're trying to move and go through life like this and walk on eggshells with this weight on you. And it's horrible, horrible. And I'm sorry that you've gone through that, Jess. And distance doesn't mean anything. When you're invested with something and you're spending most of your daylight waking hours trying to help that person and make that person happy and make everything good in their life because you do care, because they showed you windows of um, that they cared back, and then they close the window on you. Then they open it. Then they close it. And they open it. And they close it. And you just run over. It just drains you so much. And now I'm starting to see all of that weight come off of you. All of that layers of rocks and cement just like fall away. And there's Jess. She's actually a flower. She can dance in the wind. She can, when the rain falls on her, she can laugh and giggle as she runs out of the forest. It's fun. You're fun. And it's so good to see the side of you, because when I met you, this was not a side that I got to see.
You
So
know,
you were in a bad place back then. And I see a different Jess these days.
Figgy would probably argue with you because I think she was ready to have a heart attack the other night.
No offense to some of the people in your lives. I think they get way worked up over nothing.
Well, I have to agree. I understand. She was worried because lightning is dangerous and it can strike, and yeah, I get it. Um,
You see, but you're like I am, where you just like you put in God's hands. He's got the date and the time when I'm supposed to go, and if I'm meant to go, it's going to be now by lightning. It's not or not. I
yeah,
just keep on going. And
yeah,
it was very cool to watch you laughing and giggling. And what was the caveat of that whole life was at the very end. The very end was priceless, because you turned in a certain way. I don't know exactly how that happened, but the light came back on
well,
you and your red light or something, and it made
yeah.
this blue light.
It was, well, because I had the camera actually facing me, and I think what I was trying to do, oh, that's what I was trying to do, because I had the camera facing me, and because the light was facing away, you couldn't see my face. And I knew that if I flashed the camera or flashed the light on the camera while it was facing me, it would reflect off and you would be able to see my face. But I did it in such a way that the entire screen turned blue. And that's why I was like, oh,
That
let's try this
was
the other way around. And that's when I flipped the camera around, just like it would have been in a
in those abnormal
investigation.
investigation lives that I witnessed, that I had seen this
Yep.
blue light, and I was, instead of, because I've never had it to me, because I don't go out there with lights. I'm different.
Oh yeah.
When I've gone out with you, it's like a whole new ball game for me to do things your way
Well,
and try it out your way.
well,
But
that's just like when I was out there and everybody's like, "Where's the light? Where's the light?" And I I wanted to turn the light back on for everybody when I was out there, but the moon was just lighting up the area.
it's so
I
beautiful.
really wish I could have been able to capture that for everybody because it really was just it it was
And see,
awe-inspiring.
I love hiking like that when the moon is really bright and I'm familiar with the
Mhm.
path. I know I'm not, I keep like a lamp light in my pocket or something and just shine it on the ground every now and then if I need to. But I would just love like walking out there in the darkness with just the moonlight. I mean,
Mhm.
but a lot of my investigation, I never recorded because it was for me, and I did it for me. I didn't do it for the whole world,
Mhm.
you know. So a lot of my experiences have been based on that. But the other night, what really, and I thought, go Jess. That's the person that I would put my money on, is the one that has discernment, the one that decides, okay, here in this moment, I am going to be clear. I'm going to be um, I'm not going to set people
Transparent.
up to, yeah, transparent, exactly. I'm not going to be the person to set people up to believe something is paranormal here. And, oh, I can create this again a couple weeks from now. And they all reacted to it. So now it's a source of entertainment. It's not
Mhm.
research. It's not, it's more of a performance. It's more of how do
Mhm.
I get them, and how do I bring them in? And how do I get more people on my channel? How do I get more subs? And it's not about research anymore, is it?
No.
It's not about the cryptids. It's now about you. And that that's a very ugly look. And I really feel sorry for the viewers. That's what irritates me more than anything. It's because there are so many people out there that are knowers that they've heard vocals, or they've seen shadows, or they've had family that have, you know, encounters. So they know it's real. They know it's out there themselves. They've seen eye shine or something. But when they see all these different, and there are some incredible aspects to the cryptids, to
Mhm.
Sasquatch in general, that they have abilities and they can do things, they can make things happen that are, make them seem otherworldly. The whole interdimensional thing comes in to play. But somebody to take advantage of their need to want to know, and then them putting their trust in you, that you're giving them the truth, and then you're leading them down that road of non-transparency. Is
Mhm.
it lying? Is it
Yeah.
hoaxing at that point? What label do we actually put on this, or is it an umbrella of just untruth?
Untruth. I mean, okay, and what you're doing is you're creating a false narrative. You're creating um it goes along the lines of like what we were discussing the other day about the four walls of our home. It's a false sense of security, um, because we know that things can get through these walls, and just because they're solid to us doesn't mean that they're solid to everything. There's that false sense of security that people don't understand. There's that uh, untruth that people then
Well,
are
it's, yeah,
creating,
the
and
umbrella.
then
Uh,
on
uh,
top of it, you're also by doing these lies, and these people tell even the fake AI stories that a lot of channels are going with now. Because do you know how many times I get messages from people, and it is so hard, but I have to tell them like
I
that is
know, I
not
get it
real.
too.
But if you keep allowing people to follow, especially my mom,
You got to
she's
bring it to the truth. You got to bring it to them gentle. I always like, I get so many followers that send me like these little videos, and they want that to be real, what they're
they,
seeing. They're like, look at this, Shell. What do you think of this? And I
it's that
always got to
X
point out,
it's that
look at the
X Files
bottom.
poster. I want to believe it, right?
And I'm going, and I gently say, just right here, I take a screenshot, I circle it for them, put an arrow, AI info. And a lot of people, I have to keep reminding those people to look for it, but I really, I hate it. I really hate it.
Well,
It
and what is
makes
it?
things so hard for those of us that have been photographers and been bringing evidence for years. Now, just like the same character that we've been talking about here, did he not accuse my work of being AI? But
Mm-hmm,
my work goes back decades, and
mm-hmm.
he's calling photographs that are decades old AI. It's like,
And
dude,
and
this
he's
is this. this just, it adds up to my truth that you didn't know who I was, you don't know who I am, and you
Mhm.
don't know my work. Or you would have known that picture was like 13 years old that you sit there and decided to tell everybody it's AI.
I mean, and that's one of the things that, he himself uses, or I don't know if he's done anything recent. Like I said, I've told people I've blocked everything off from him for my own health and for, like I was saying, if God is going to heal me, I can't keep going back to something that I know is toxic and I know is going to break me down. I would be undoing everything that God has already worked in me. So I'm not watching anything. I don't know if he actually
And I am
has
so
anything
proud
going
of you
up,
for
but
not being
yeah.
tempted to go and watch his lives or go and see what his shows are or anything like that. I know that, and I've heard through the grapevine because maybe a surprise to him. I do have friends that may be friends with him, and they do go watch his shows just to see if he is still hoaxing. And then they get like 10 minutes in, and they're like, I can't watch that guy. I can't even stand his voice any longer. Yeah. So there are people that come back to me that are going, he acts like he thinks that Jess is watching him. And I just like I
No.
think it's great. I think it's great that you don't, because then you don't, you're not paying that toll. You're not going through that toll booth to ride on that road anymore.
Hmm.
You're done. You shut that door, you shut it. That exit is just, it's an off ramp. You're not going back into it.
And and see, one of the things is, I know for him to be accusing you of, or having accused you of using AI, and me personally knowing firsthand he had been doing that with his videos. Because, like I said, and I kind of want to go back, I don't want to lose on some of that other stuff because we're kind of moving through, and I want to round back to some of the other stuff that we were
Well,
discussing to change.
that's
But
because it
well, that,
is like what I
yeah,
said, an
there's a lot.
untrue umbrella. You to make an
But
umbrella, how many like triangle pieces do you have to make?
yeah.
There's so much that sits under his untruth.
So, and I know I had said there were times where he would send me um, emails of stories to go ahead and record for him, and my reaction was like, okay, I'll record these for you and I'll send them back. And when I go to record them, I there was one in particular, especially where I was like, well, the ending is missing, and his reaction was, oh, before that one, he's like, make sure you run it through AI first. And I said, well, why would I run it through AI? Oh, well, to clean it up. Well, if it's somebody else's story, the only thing that I
You
would
don't want to alter it.
do,
You don't.
right, the only thing that I would do to clean it up would be maybe to put it through like Word and clean up the punctuations or spelling just so I
Grammar.
can read it. Yes. But other than that, why would I put it through an AI generator? That doesn't make sense. Oh, to make sure it flows better. No, that would be punctuation, grammar, put it through like Microsoft Word so that it flows.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm like, well, that kind of sounds weird. But then I noticed that there were times where it would come through and would have parentheses in the front and back, which is what you would do when you are running it through an AI program. Like if you're saying, create me a picture of a person running on the beach with a horse and a dog, and you would put the parentheses around it so that that way it would
Oh,
keep those
see,
things in there. But
I don't even
when
know. You know what? I use it to like generate these fun little pictures of
yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
Dogman and Bigfoot behind you, so you can get a picture
Yeah,
of yourself in there with them. But outside of that, I mean,
when
I haven't really played with it. So, but
right.
I had a background in journalism, and so I prefer to do
Well,
my own rant.
when you have a large vocabulary and you have a higher education, it's a lot easier to do that. You don't have to rely on things like AI to create stories for you. And, so I know.
No, I definitely got
Um,
the verbiage.
but then the other situation, oh, 1 second, I gotta pause this. Okay. But then what I'm saying is, but then when he would send that story, that email, and then turn around and say, or I would say, I said, the ending to the story is missing. Do you have the other part? And it was almost like, oh, no, I deleted it already. Well, why would you delete somebody's email that they sent you? Like, okay,
Why even
well,
send it
what?
to you if you don't have it all there?
Yeah, I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with this then if I don't have the whole story? Oh, just make it up. No, I'm not going to just make
Oh,
up the ending of somebody else's story. That's an injustice to them. That's not getting their truth out there. That's hurting them. And he was like, well, then just don't read it.
oh my gosh! You know, his channel needs
So,
to be described as entertainment with a capital E.
so yeah. So, I mean, between reading the stories and then I wanted to go back to originally with the moderators. So there's something that needs to be said about what happened with my moderators way back when. We shared moderators. Um, I started off with two moderators that I um, invited into my, or when they were on my channel, they would come in. Belinda was the second moderator I ever set up on my channel. The very first
Mhm.
one was Lawana, aka Smurfette, aka Blue Biddy, aka Who Do You Love? And she was my very first moderator. She was wonderful. And from there, I think I ended up bringing in Pam was his moderator for the longest time. I think I brought Pam in a little while later. Sharon, Guy, I ended up bringing in Lisa, Ann, Pink Pixie. Now, Pink Pixie, I invited in as my moderator based on Mike. Mike didn't want to add Pink Pixie to his group as a moderator because he was unsure how she was going to be. So he kept pushing me. You add Pink Pixie. You add Pink Pixie. She works out. Then I'll add her in. And I made Pink Pixie a moderator. And I'll tell you what, Pink Pixie, I love her dearly. She is such a sweet and wonderful woman. And I really hope and pray that she is doing well because I know that she has been having a lot of health issues. And I pray that her doctors are able to take care of her and heal her completely. She is in my thoughts and my prayers all the time.
Indeed,
Um,
indeed.
but unfortunately, she was one that Mike was, he was always unsure about certain people being his moderator. He was always, Lisa Ann and Lisa. What do they look like? What do they look like? What do they look like? What does it matter what they look like? They
What's
do
the
a
matter with they
great
look like?
job. They do a great job at moderating. What does it matter what they
Good
look like?
Lord.
Um, and it
Well, you
was,
know,
but
I never understood the fact. You know, when I started watching your lives and stuff, and I told you straight out, I don't want to moderate for you
yeah,
because I rather just sit and watch your live.
hmm
And then, you know, this guy that says all kinds of nasty things behind my back, which I didn't know was going on, all this stuff, he just out of the blue makes me a moderator.
which is
I'm there
funny
like,
too because he kept going on and on and on about how he didn't trust you, didn't trust you. But what I want to get to though is what happened. Like this was the things with the moderators, what this started a snowball effect. So we were having a discussion, and this is where this is kind of important that this is explained. We were having a discussion going on, and he said he had been uh, reached out to by none other than D.A. Roberts, and D.A. Roberts told him that he should not be sharing moderators with his co-host, that me and him should not share moderators. Because if
are you
anything,
sure DA said that, or is this
no,
another one of his fabrications?
thank you. No, I don't. All I have is his own word on it. So I don't
Like
know.
everything else.
But who was I to question him? At this point, We
Well, none of us
talked
had a
about
reason to
everything.
until the dominoes
I
started
know.
to fall. You know, that card house that he
I was
built,
just
that
gonna
card
say the
hotel,
house of
you
cards,
know,
right?
yeah, the house of cards that he's built, you know, and you know,
So,
it branches off. It's like a spider web. It's crazy.
well, he pushed and pushed and pushed, and he's like, this is what DA says. This is what DA says. And I was put in a position where I'm going, okay, my channel is small. He's being attacked by all of these people from who I had assumed at this point, a lot of them were, because I was also being constantly attacked by people on the PRT channel. Um, but that was because of my affiliation with him, which goes into another thing, but I want to get through this first. Um, he ended up basically talking me into what we needed to do is split moderators. And it was the moderators should need to make a choice. So there were a few moderators that I said for sure, I'm like, you've Pam has been a moderator for you from the very beginning. Sharon Guy is an excellent moderator. I think you should keep her. I said, not to mention, I know that no matter what, she's got your back. So if something ever happens, I know she will defend you to the end because um, when I was having issues early on in my channel with being attacked, originally I was, and this kind of goes back to, and you don't have any idea about what, because I remember even where I was going that night to investigate. I was arriving on site at an investigation spot. And before I had gotten there, originally I was saying, okay, I want the moderators to go ahead and drop links for other channels that both Mike and I support. And something I'm not sure quite what had happened, but I had this feeling that I was going to be attacked by and I know I'm saying PRT, but that is because, and I'm not saying PRT at this point is everybody that is affiliated with PRT is bad or anything like that. I'm just saying they were the enemy. Okay, because I don't want them coming after me. I don't want to fight with anybody right now at this point. This is not a fight with AI
Well,
or PRT, but I'm just trying to say
I
that
think what you're
yes,
trying to say is there you were being told things and made to believe things,
yes,
and they weren't transparent. They weren't the reality. They were
right,
what the reality that somebody had manufactured, their
right.
drama. And so they would slide things in on all of us. We were all undergoing that with this person.
So,
And
right.
they were and they were pointing the finger at somebody else going, oh, they're doing this. And then they were creating fake accounts that even we didn't have a clue about,
Right.
and they were coming in your life as your best friend,
So,
hiding
well,
under
okay.
another
Well,
name.
hold on. Now you're jumping ahead. Hold on. Okay.
Well,
So wait,
it just blows my mind.
hold on. Okay. So in this particular moment, though, I ended up turning around and telling the moderators, I'm like, don't drop links. Don't drop links. I don't want anybody innocent being attacked tonight because I am under the impression I got a heads up that I was going to be trolled really hard and it was going to be a bad night. And I believe it ended up being a bad night, but they ended up going back to Mike and saying, something's fishy. Why won't she promote you? I don't trust her. And he had informed me of this and I says, yes, I know because I was informed by one of my moderators that this had happened. And I said, well, good, because that tells me that your moderators are going to support you. And I was happy. I was happy that I'm like, they have, in my
All the
exact words,
while, he's
but,
standing at the mixing machine, throwing in ingredients.
but
Drama, drama, drama.
my exact words to him and to the moderator that told me was, good. I'm glad they're willing to support him. That just means that they don't know me well enough and they don't know the lengths or the ends that I would go to support him, and that I would never do anything to stab him in the back. And I know that sounds I don't want to say funny or ironic or hypocritical, because
To be
anybody that
honest, I'm just
knows
sitting here
me,
shaking my head. I'm just sitting here shaking my head.
I wasn't the one. That I was not the one to stab anybody in the back. That was not.
Exactly.
I chose
No,
to walk away and respect myself because I knew I deserved a whole lot
better.
better than what I thought was my friend.
Yeah.
And going back and looking back now, so then with those moderators that I chose to say, okay, you know what? I'll let them go, because again, I was sacrificing my channel and everything that I was doing, knowing that without my moderators, I was going to be hit hard with those trolls. I said I would rather him have the moderators there to support and protect him and his channel, and I will just have to make do and figure it out and deal with it as it comes. And I
Isn't
ended
that
up,
what a best friend would do, though? Isn't that what a partnership would be, though? Isn't that what the word team? I heard that come out of your mouth. He uses. Isn't that what a team would do?
yeah,
You have your team's back, your teammates back, your partners back, your besties back, your best
hmm
friend, your ride or die.
hmm
Whatever you want to put on that label, that is what you would do for them. And you are that kind of person. And he took full advantage of that, and it sucks. And I'm that kind of person, and he did the same to me. The last show I did with him, did I know that he was going around telling all these people that I'm this bad, terrible person? I mean, this guy Wonderly came into his lives and stuff, and I was still a moderator, and I'm saying hello, and hello, and all of a sudden she's a moderator. She can't even say hello back to me, and then I'm stripped of moderator, and none of these people talk to me anymore. And I'm like, whatever, I don't know what the problem is. And then you get messages that literally they're saying, "Ooh, Shell's gonna bring you down. You need to stay away from her." Uh, hello, how so? What have I done besides help this dude? And then he still wants me to do a show for him with the knife hanging out of my back that I don't even know is there, just waiting for him to twist it. Well,
yeah.
thank God I didn't give him the chance, and he didn't get to twist it. I yanked it out, and I winged that sucker back.
Well, what ended up ultimately happening with the loss of my moderators was a whole lot more damaging than just a group of trolls to enter into my life and cause problems. What ultimately ended up happening was those moderators took that as a personal hit, that I
Didn't
it
value their friendship.
it became personal to them. And at
Yeah,
that point, now again, we're going back to what was the source. At that time, what I was told by him was that they were so insulted, they refused to ever come back to my show again. So not only did they no longer choose to come to my show, but there was no support there whatsoever. They would say hi to me in his show when I was there out of respect for him, but me as a person in my show, they were not going to support, they were not going to promote, they were not going to come in, and that was it. They were done with me. So I
and
didn't
he
just
did
lose.
this not even caring, not even skipping a beat.
Mhm. Yep.
That's terrible.
Um,
He
and
has no conscience.
so here um, I lost not only my moderators, but I lost who I thought were friends. I mean,
And, not knocking these people down in any way, but I was friends to them too. And I had friended them on Facebook. And all these people
but
in the
this,
end were not my friend anymore. And I couldn't understand why they wouldn't even say hi to me. I didn't know
well,
what was going on behind my back.
well, and that goes to, are these are the things that I question. I know the stuff that through our discussions he would say, um, almost like he was testing things out. Like, I'm going to tell so and so this, and you think they'd be mad. What do you think? What do you think about that? What are your thoughts? What do you think about that? Do you think they're going to be mad? What do you think? How do you think they're going to act? Oh my gosh. All the time. What do you think? How do you think? What do
That's
you think they're going to do? What do
diabolical.
you
That
think they're
means
going to
he's
do?
making some plan and he wants to know what you think will happen. What's the outcome going to be of this? I mean, if you're just going by staying in your own lane, doing your own thing, you wouldn't have to be worrying about what those other people are thinking or doing.
You know, none of those, none of those moderators, a lot of those people I lost at that time, none of them came back until after he pushed me to start doing those other videos. And that too was a threat because he said, if you don't start doing this, Janice is going to come after you. And and I know that that sounds like, even saying it now out loud to myself, I'm going, that sounds so ridiculous. But
Ludicrous.
I mean, like, why wouldn't I have questioned it then? But that's not how that's not how exactly he would come across. It would be like, in conversation, um, it would be more along the lines of, Janice told me that you're just riding my coattails. You're not doing anything. You're just riding my coattails.
Oh,
Um,
oh my
and that,
God.
you
Like he's
you
something
have,
special.
like, you have, Janice, you have all this information. You've had all this information for 2 years. How come you're not putting it out? And I would say, Mike, I didn't have information for 2 years. I've been supporting you for 2 years, but I didn't have all this information that I have now. I don't have the chats that I have now. I don't have the messages and the screenshots that I have now. Well, that's not what they think, that you were supposed to do this big show. Like, wait a minute. I wasn't doing a big show. You had talked about doing this big show from the very beginning, but I wasn't even part of the
Oh,
channel. I wasn't even
so
part of that.
I
So
see.
now things are
So,
turned around and now it's on me. This was not, I wasn't, well, if you
oh,
don't do it, she's going to start bringing stuff out on you and she's going to start attacking you.
I see a whole different picture here. So we encourage Jess to get a channel. We encourage Jess to get followers and get, everything going. And then, ooh, use that channel to do my bidding.
Was that his plan
So
from the
it was
I'm not saying
all
that
it was
no.
diabolical. If you think about
No.
this, did he
No.
not do this to
No. Hold on.
benefit
Hold on.
himself?
Calm down. Hold on. I'm not saying, hold on. I know where your mind is going, Shell, but was this his plan from the very beginning? I can't say
That's
it
what
was.
I'm going.
There's no way he would have. No,
I don't put anything past him. I have seen some really diabolical stuff out of this guy. I don't, and that's why I told you my opinion is biased because my experience with this person is a completely different experience than what yours is, and a very short amount of time that I even knew him, and then I didn't even know him well. I didn't. But what I do have is eyes wide open of how I seen him dealing with all of these people that are in his kitchen that he can throw in the mixer at any time. And the thing is, all these people have one thing in common, or more things in common than one when it comes to him. Like most women have been called witches. He labels everybody a witch, right? That's what I've seen. Um, Not only that, I mean, they've all been sketched out to each other so that they stay spread out and they're not friends with each other. They're not close friends with each other. They're not talking amongst themselves. Why? Because they all have the same truths. And if they come together and start talking and saying, oh, yeah, he was coming on to me and saying this to me. And oh, yeah, he's showing me these pics. And oh, yeah, he did that to me too. And, that's why he drives wedges everywhere because he don't want these people throwing the soup together and having a whole recipe that everybody could eat and go, oh yeah, like this Sky Wonderly chick. She comes along. This guy tells her all kinds of crazy, nasty stuff about me that, I mean, I don't even know what he said. She doesn't know me. I've never known her. But yet she believed what he said because he is so convincing the way he was to you. He seems so authentic and treating you like his best friend and putting you on a pedestal. And then he did the same thing to her. I watched it happen. And yet he had her eat, and I don't know if she still does because I don't watch his channel, but she was eating out of his hand like, she's the wild animal and he's there to save the world. And it was like, oh, that's disgusting. And, sitting back watching how how many people have we seen this done to? We've seen it done to many different females in his realm.
So I guess the devil is knocking on my door right now. People want to say that I am just vengeful and I'm being mean and there's no proof, right?
Mm-mm,
Well,
mm-mm. If people are saying that,
hold on.
then they're probably, you know what, they've probably not got their eyes open yet.
Let's let's do something here, shall we?
Sure, let's do it. What are we doing?
Can you see your screen?
Yeah, but I can't really read it. I'm on the phone. I don't
That's
have my
okay.
computer on.
That's okay. I'll read it for you.
Oh, okay.
Kristen A. Doyle Anderson. On January 2nd, 2026, she messages me. This was one of the first nights. This is the first time she's ever messaged me. Okay, at this point, I believe because she was already a moderator. He made her a moderator in like November. It was right before Christmas. Um, and she, I think there was a question in regards to one of the things that Nancy had timed out one of the people in chat. Because there were times where Nancy would get way too heavy handed with moderation. So she says, "Hey Jess, sorry I was late tonight. I had my family over for dinner. One last time before my son is going back. Am I smoking crack or did Nancy time out half the chat tonight? I just didn't see what most those people were doing wrong." Okay, now you and I both know sometimes it is difficult to see some of the stuff that's going on in chat. Sometimes you go to click one person and another person gets clicked, and before you know it, you end up timing out, let's see, Grant for like 830,000 seconds. Like,
It happened the
sorry,
other night.
Grant.
That was horrible.
Sorry, Grant. But totally a mistake. But okay, so yeah. I said I was watching the other live stream, but I did remove a bunch towards the end. I'm not quite sure what what that one was. I don't really remember a whole lot anymore, but it says I don't ever worry about and don't ever worry about if you miss a live because we all have things that are going on and family is what's most important. Okay. The next time, okay, she messages, I'm so new, I'm still learning. I don't, let's see, I'm still learning. And I know y'all have some bad people coming in that are enemies, but some people were saying very minor things. I was just shocked she was timing them out. And I said, yeah, we'll probably need to have a discussion to talk about it. I believe that at this time I was probably on the phone with Mike because we were always on the phone. In fact, yeah, 11:30 at night. Yeah, I was probably on the phone with Mike. I know them older lady maybe getting offended easily, I guess. And I said, yes, it does get irritating when some of the same stupid people making stupid comments. For sure. Okay. So that was January 2nd. Oh, I don't know if she felt comfortable messaging me because just prior to that, that was right before I had dropped that New Year's video that I had worked so long on, putting that huge compilation together while Mike was sleeping, by the way, for the New Year's Eve drop that night on his channel. And while I was being harassed by Hector that same night, and I was trying to get hold of Mike, but he was like passed out. Here I'm like trying to put stuff together. I'm talking to Clough and doing all this stuff, and um, I'm working. So yeah, it was New Year's Eve, and I ended up having a couple of Mike's Hard Lemonades, which were really good. I think they were like the strawberry lemonade ones. Anyways, I don't normally drink. They were just going down. I was working. And she had made the comment about, oh, you're funny when you're drunk. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird to say that to somebody. But again, I don't normally drink. So, and I think I've drank twice since then. And I haven't drank since. Um, I don't drink. But, anyways, that was the
So
first time she.
she made the assumption you're drunk?
Oh, I was pretty drunk. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
okay.
I was. No, I can't say I was drunk. I'm Wisconsinite. Come on, I'm a Wisconsinite. We can drink a 6 pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade and just be buzzed. I was buzzed. I wasn't drunk. I was feeling good. Okay. Um.
Relax for a change.
Yes. I mean, yeah. I was working on the computer. I was drinking. I was laughing. I was having a good time. I was in a good mood. Whatever. Um. And she had made the comment like, "Oh, you're funny when you're drunk," or I didn't think I was really gonna like you," or I wasn't sure about you. She made this weird, like, backhanded statement in the moderation group, and I was like, "Okay, sure." Anyways,
Hmm.
whatever. I'm like, "You're cool." Okay, moving on. January 26th. Okay. She says, "Is everything okay with you and Mike? Just so you know, Mike and I are only friends." Now, here's a little backstory to that, okay, that I need to explain. So,
Yeah, because that just comes out of left field.
So prior to this, I had made a comment to Mike about coming down to Oklahoma. I'm like, you know, he had court coming up in March. He was trying to do things to boost the channel. He kept asking me, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I said, you need to have somebody else out there. You need to go investigate. Everybody keeps telling you you've got so much stuff going on out there. You need to have somebody else out there with you. I'm like, I I'm working now. I have money. I can afford to come down. Let's do this. You can't come down here. What do you mean I can't come down? You can't come down here. I can't have you down here. Why? I can't be out in the woods at night with a woman. What? You're saying that I can't
Huh?
come investigate with you because I don't have a dick? Yeah, I can't be out in the middle of the woods at night with a woman.
What the?
That sounds weird. That sounds really weird.
Extremely.
And his
Red
his back
flag.
his backup behind that was because of the case, because of the court, because of what was going on. And I'm like, this is a child custody case. There shouldn't be anything against you. Do it. So you're basically telling me then if you worked in an office with other women, if you were a patrol officer and you were put on duty with a female partner, you couldn't be a patrol officer with a female partner because of the case that you're going through?
No, no, no. When you don't have your kids, it's like, unless you're doing something totally nefarious like drugs or something like that would get you a felony, no, it doesn't matter what you do on the weekends, evenings, whatever. As long as your kid's not there, it would have no effect. That's stupid.
So, so my comment was, I'm coming down to do an investigation, to do a collaboration. That is what I would be coming down to do a backup support. Let's do this together. Let's do an investigation together. And his comment back was something along the lines of about us hooking up. And I'm like, I'm not hooking up with you. Well, that's what everybody's going to think. Who gives a shoot
Who-
what people think? Because that's not why I'm coming down. I'm coming down to do an investigation
Well,
collaboration
the
with you.
only the only reason he would care is if he's got other chicks he's talking to that he don't want them to think that.
So, well, but even before that, he goes, well, PRT has put that out there. So that's what everybody thinks. Who cares what people think? And he's like, well, he just kept going around and around and around. And it kept making me think about the time when, and I'm going back now, and I had said this to you the one time too. We had, when I had originally told him, because I was like, you need another co host. And I said, I really like Amanda. She's in your chats. She is constantly supporting you. She's young. She's got, she's always got something to say. I said, I think you should make Amanda a second co host. And he's like, oh, okay. You know what? Yeah, that would be a great idea. Sure. Okay. He's like, do you think she'll be able to handle it? I said, we could test it out and see how it works. And he goes, okay, well, in the next live, why don't you reach out to her and tell her that we're trying to get a hold of her? Okay. So I reached out to her a couple times and it took her a while to finally email him back. And I guess at one point he even said, she was nervous. She doesn't trust a whole lot of people. She doesn't talk to a lot of people. And that, she didn't want to friend me because she thought that I was trying to get her to moderate or co-host or something, or moderate for her channel or for my channel. And I was like, no, that I never had any intention of getting, because that was the first thing we wanted to do, is get her to be a moderator. And I said, no, that was not the intention. I was trying to get her to communicate and get her email so that we could set her up as a moderator. And he goes, yeah, well, she thought you wanted her to moderate for you. And I said, no, did you tell her that that's not what I was trying to get a hold of her for? And he's like, yeah, yeah. And she said, oh, okay. It was a confusion. Like, okay. Well, now I'm almost wondering if he ever did or if there was more to it, weird stuff. So then, after she had been moderating, I'm like, I think you should make her a co-host. And he's like, you really think she'd be a good co-host? I said, let's try her out. Let's see. And she popped in and things seemed to work out great. And we were kind of like joking back and forth. And he's like, oh, I'm in trouble. Now I've got two of you guys against me. And, I thought we had a good time. And it was after that first show, he comes back and he was like, Tim came back and he thinks that you guys together is just too much estrogen. And I'm like, you know, with things that change, especially in the channels, you're
Once
not,
again, did Tim really say that, or is
I
this
don't
something that was, yeah,
know.
fabricated?
And I would always say, I'm like, Mike, you're not a pizza. You can't make everybody happy. Sometimes people just need to let change happen, let things work through. It'll be, we'll see what happens. I think she co hosted a couple other times and then all of a sudden stopped coming on. And I was like, what happened with Amanda? Why isn't she co hosting anymore? And he's like, oh, well, she wants to get her laptop up and running. And I told her it's a good idea too, so that I didn't just have the screen up, so that she could have her video up and people could actually see and see her face and her expressions. And I was like, okay, sure, I guess.
Kind of what's going on with me right now. My
Right,
computer's busted. Yeah.
right. But yeah, and the phones are, you got to be so small on the phone, and I totally get it. I understand. But um, we ended up having Randy come on, and it happened. It worked for a while, and once in a while she would pop in, and it would be great. And I'd be like, "Oh, is Amanda coming in? Oh, I don't know. I don't know." And then all of a sudden, I didn't even see Amanda moderating for quite some time. Didn't know what happened. And I kept asking him, like, what's going on with Amanda? Oh, she picked up some extra shifts at the hospital, and she's working a lot at the hospital, and she's working late. And it's like, okay. Um, and much like his friend Christy, who I don't even know if Christy's actually a real person at this point either, because wow, that was a weird whole thing to do with that. Because anybody that would remember, he had talked about having his friend Christy come out and do a boots on the ground with him. And then all of a sudden, it never happened. Like a lot of the stuff that he says is going to happen, it never happened. Um, and it's like, okay, when is the follow up? And this is where Wendy Guizdala would always say, he lied about everything. I'm like, what did he lie about? She's like, well, everything. And I'm like, but what? Make him take a lie detector test. He lied about everything. And I'm like, but now I understand what she was saying when she says he lied about everything. You don't even know. You don't even know where to begin with this crap, because he would make up little stories and just run with it with everybody. I question now everything, like, did Tim really say something about too much estrogen? Maybe, maybe not. Did Amanda have issues with her computer, or was he telling her that I was pissed and being a bitch about it and he couldn't have her on? I have no idea at this point what he could have possibly been telling people. I only know what he had been telling me, and I know for a fact that he told me he didn't want me talking to people, like he didn't want me talking to Sarah. He didn't want me talking to Kaylee. He didn't want me talking to his mom. He didn't want me talking to Rhonda, heaven forbid. He didn't want me talking to Wendy. He didn't want me talking to you. Um, there was no way, come hell or high water, he was going to get me to ever to stop talking to Dana. And I think it bothered him. And that's why he ended up going after you in the first place, because he was threatened by you as well. And I'm kind of digressing because I want to get back to this chat, which whole thing comes right back around in another circle. Like, what happened to Amanda? I was the one that said, bring Amanda on. I like Amanda. She's got a lot of personality. She's fun. She's funny. She's sweet. She is just a very wonderful person. And then all of a sudden she disappears. Well, I do find it a little odd that all of a sudden I leave and now she's completely back. She's in the moderator group. She's showing back up on YouTube. Maybe she had stuff going on, but I don't know now. I
You don't
don't
know what
know.
she's been told. You have
I
no
have
clue.
no clue. No, none. Kind of like Randy. Where has Randy been?
Yeah, just out of the blue, he just dropped off my radar. I was friends with him. We texted on the phone. I had no problem with Randy. He had no problem with me the last I spoke to him. And then out of clear the sky, he's just somebody completely off limits to me.
Uh-huh. So, I mean, going back through, I'm going, okay, January 26th. Mike and I think this was actually this whole thing with me coming down and going out on an investigation. I think that was actually one of our very first real arguments. Where was I upset? I was upset at him, not necessarily at him. I was upset at the situation. I was upset because I was being told as a woman I couldn't do something because I was a woman. I couldn't do an investigation with my friend because I was a woman and I wasn't trusted out there. with him, it was just, I was having a really hard time grasping and understanding why this would be an issue. This is a business deal. This is a business discussion. This has nothing to do with a relationship or anything of a sexual nature, which is what he kept turning it around to be. And I didn't understand this. I just call me just plain naive and stupid, but that was not my intentions. That was not where I was going. And I was upset because, again, I was being told I couldn't do something because I didn't have a dick. This was ridiculous. Huh, ridiculous. So
That would have
here,
not sit well with me. Right there, I would have been taking huge offense to that.
I was pretty upset, and he knew I was upset. So here we have her coming in and saying, "Is everything okay with you and Mike? Just so you know, Mike and I are only friends." First of all, one of his clear go-to tactics with me was
And you're
when,
talking about this Kristen, this Sky Wonderly.
yes, Sky Wonderly, Kristen. One of his
Okay,
clear
so
tactics with me would always be, "Can you contact so and so? Can you check to see if so and so? Can you reach out to so and so? See what they think. Are they upset? What do you think? Are they mad? Can you see if so and so is upset? Can you see what so and so thinks about this?" He
well,
and
he
I
never
would
really reached out to me and did the same thing to me, wanting me to check on Barton to see if he's mad. And I'm like, well, why don't you do it? Why don't you contact him?
nope, because he's too busy, or he's not that close, or it'll look better coming from you, right? Oh, it'll be better, Kristen, if you reach out to her coming from a girl, right? Another woman. Well, here's the issue. The only reason why anybody would have known that Mike and I had had a discussion in which I could have been upset would be if he was having that discussion with somebody else. So, first of all, for
Yeah,
him to,
because you know what? At that point in time, you and me and Dana were pretty close. And if there was something bothering you, you would have said something to us. And you
mhm,
didn't even say anything to us.
no. So, this was a Monday morning that she reached out at 10:03 a.m. because that night before was the discussion that we were having, that I had been up late. So now I had been up, I think at this point I'm at work, 8, 9, 10. I was there for probably like 3 hours, right? And very little sleep in the middle of projects and stuff. And I get a message out of the blue from this woman who I didn't know. Even even if I was in a position to have a discussion about an argument that I had with my friend, the last person in the world I would be having that talk with would be
A
a person
stranger.
I had, yeah, I don't know her. Um, so I'm like, and here's my first reaction to this was,
Can you pull that back
you,
up? Pull that back up on the screen.
yep. And my first reaction to this was, you SOB. Why? Why are you having a discussion with somebody else about an argument that we would have had, or a discussion we would have had? Why are you going to another woman? Why aren't you having a discussion with your friend Steve, or your friend Doug, or your friend Josh Hughes? Why are you having this discussion with Kristen? Like, really? I thought I was your, at this point, again, I thought I was like one of your best friends. Why are you having a discussion with somebody, a complete stranger, and having them reach out to me? And he would turn around and make a comment to me like, "You're supposed to go to the person when you're having an issue and not talk about them behind your back. What are you doing?" And I even said that to him in when we had that discussion afterwards. I'm like, "You ass. How could you do that? Why would you go to somebody like her and then have her contact me? I don't know
Do as I
her.
say. Do as I
I'm
do as
not gonna,
I do. Don't do as I do.
yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to have a discussion with her about this. So my first reaction, what do I say? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Why would it matter to me if you're friends? He's his own person and can do what he wants. And her, you're right. It's none of my business. I just don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. Yeah, you're right. It is none of your business if Mike and I are having any issues. It would be like if you and I had an argument, what is it anybody's but hey, are you and Shell okay? What does it matter to you? If me and Shell are having an issue, me and Shell will discuss our issue. It is not your problem. It is not your concern. It is not your business. Period. So, and yeah, so when her reaction was, you're right, it's none of my business. I just don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. Wrong idea about what? There's nothing to get a wrong idea about. Okay, whatever. So then what are we going to
Wrong idea. Like she's implying that
yeah,
she's got
wrong
something
idea.
going on with him.
And I said I wasn't trying to
But
be
she's
rude.
married, right? She's yeah, Doyle Anderson. She's married.
23 years or something like that. Yeah. But I said, I'm not trying to be rude. I was just confused as to where this would be coming from and why. Where I already know. There's no reason why she would have reached out to me. I knew where it came from. It came from Mike. And why? Because he tried to persuade her into contacting me. And, oh, he just told me you were upset with him, so I was hoping it wasn't me. Again, if I'm upset with him, why would I think it was her? Has nothing to do with her. And
And
I
it wouldn't
think,
have been any of her
oh,
business. Wow.
no, that's why. Because he told her, I remember this now, he told her that I was upset because he was going to make her a co host. And I'm like, okay, co host. So why would that have anything to do?
You were the
No,
one to suggest that in the first place that he needed a co-host.
right. And because
Because
Amanda
Randy's
wasn't,
MIA.
yeah. And because Amanda wasn't, I didn't know what was going on with Amanda. So he asked Sky Wonderly. Okay, great, whatever. Um, no, nothing to do with her. We had just had the conversation about me coming down and doing a collaboration together. Nothing to do with her. Didn't care. Uh, and I said, I still don't know why I would have given you that or given that impression to you that it had anything to do with you or why she would even have this idea that I'm upset with. Yeah. She says, I don't know, but it's all good. Okay. Weirdo. No worries. The next day, I'm like, oh, so how's he doing? Because at this point, I had tried getting a hold of him, couldn't get a hold of him, and noticed that they were both live on Facebook. Okay, call me a stalker, but I noticed that both of their lights were green and then both of their lights went off green. And that's why I was like, I can't get a hold of him. I tried calling him on both of his cell phones and tried calling him through Messenger, and I was not getting any response. I wasn't getting any message back. And I'm like, this is weird. This is not normal. I hadn't heard from him at all. And I was kind of worried. It's not like him to, I mean, normally I could message him and within a few hours he would message back. And when I saw that he had actually been live and been active on Facebook, but then nothing, yeah, it was kind of like, what's going on? Um,
I'm I would have been like, what gives too? And
yeah.
I think the first thing because it usually tells you how long people have been
Hmm.
offline. I
Hmm.
would have looked and seen if the times were the same, if it added up.
They were similar. She says, I haven't heard from him today. Okay, sure. Okay, fine. Um, that was the last time I had a conversation with her. By this point, Mike was acting Mike, pulling away, couldn't get a hold of him. He said that he was sick, he was having problems, um, totally distant, but yet he was having conversations with other people. He was on the phone, he was talking to other people,
Obviously.
and he was only texting. And when he would text, he wasn't giving me any clear answers of anything that was going on. And they were very, very short answers. And it was all the way up until the point when I said he wanted to do a show and attack Wendy Guizdala. And I was like, sure, let's do it. And then his mood changed. Then he was all ready for it. Then he was talky. Then he was like, yeah, let's do this. And I'm gonna get screenshots and I'm gonna get stuff from Janice and then, so I'm like, all right, let's set up this video. Sure, let's do it. And then at the last minute, he was like, I'm not feeling good. I don't think I'm going to be up for it. Okay, fine. And he didn't understand why I was still doing a video live and what I was going to do without him. And it was because, to be completely honest, the most diabolical thing that I had planned, if he came on my live that night, yeah, I planned on putting him on the spot. So I guess God kind of protected him in that aspect, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to give too much credit um, for being a complete horrible person at that point, because what you will see in the next portion is why I wasn't being just a complete vengeful, vindictive, oh, if I can't have him, no one can, BS mentality. So I did the live, as everybody knows.
Yeah.
And February 1st, I went live exposing him for what he was: not a godly person, a liar, a manipulator, and yes, a homewrecker. Kristen A. Anderson Doyle, according to Facebook, and her husband, they've been married for, I think, 23 years, to Michael Anderson. Apparently, just got information earlier this afternoon that this individual, Michael, actually has been working a new job for the last 2 weeks. So,
Well,
congratulations, Michael. I
wait
hope
a minute.
he enjoys that.
Wait.
Michael
I
Anderson.
heard I heard that he was like a disabled guy or something. And that was in his chat, wasn't it? Like in a live or something?
Who? Who's chat?
That uh, maybe Sky Wonderly's husband was like disabled or something like that. Like she had to take care of him or something. I don't know. Maybe it was somebody else, but I usually don't
Well,
get things crossed up.
um, I do remember her making a statement in one of his uh, lives that somebody had sent a screenshot of, that said something along the lines of, I'm so, uh, talking about witches and how evil witches were, and that Mike said something along the lines of, he's not perfect. Yeah, he would say that a lot because that was his excuse: is I'm not perfect and I'm trying to walk the walk, talk the talk, kind of thing. Um,
Oh, okay.
but and I think her statement back was something, I'd have to look at the screenshot again, along the lines of, I'm glad you said that because you really are a good godly man, or something along those lines.
Oh, I've seen her say that 1,000 times. I'm so glad you're a godly man. Yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
So is it the fact that Mike would always say that all women are WHORES? And that's where she sits now? Because, Jess, I was kicked out of your live. I truly don't understand what's going on. Mike absolutely loved you as a friend, and you know how bad this will kill him. He loves you and wants you to come down. Now she
What?
under now she understands that that was the reason why I was upset, was because we had had an argument over me being able to come down as an investigator. Nothing,
Clearly.
nothing to do with relationships.
Oh my
Um,
God.
Now here, and this is just recent that I realized this. She says, I told him I'm only going to be a friend because I knew y'all had something. And I said, I'm not going to hurt you and Jess. You can ask him that. First of all, you're married. Why would you have to say that to somebody and say, I'm only going to be your friend because you had something with somebody else? I'm
So
sorry.
she was going
My
to have an affair
reaction,
with him if there wasn't you.
my first reaction would be, uh, I'm married. Stop.
Yeah.
That's it. There shouldn't be another conversation. However, let's look at this little edited version, shall we? Yes, Mike and I thought about talking, but I told him I'm only going to be a friend because I knew y'all had something and I'm not going to hurt you and Jess.
So
Now,
she typed it out and then edited it and changed it and didn't think you could see it.
I'm assuming. So,
That's what
for
edited means.
for the lingo of some other people, to say, which is ugh, this sounds so ridiculous. Yeah, when kids would say that they be talking, we be talking, yeah, we be talking. That usually means that you're having some type of a uh, relation talking ship, relation talking ship. So basically, she was
I
having an
just
online affair.
I just scrolled in and see that. Yeah, that was hide edits. Oh. And there's my name. She don't even know me.
Nope. So why would she say Shell's bringing you down and then God, I can't
God, I
stand her?
can't stand her. She don't even know me.
She's obviously convinced you of something that's not true. So here we go again. Mike is feeding her lies, talking about
About
you,
me.
saying that you're
Boy, he
manipulating.
likes to put my name in his mouth. Really?
But but yet she was willing to have an online affair is what I'm reading. Willing to have an online affair with Mike, even though she's married. But what stopped her was that me and him had something, which we didn't. So she was free to do whatever she wanted to. But that means that Mike also, and this is what's funny, I even said to him afterwards, I'm like, Mike, she's married. And he went, Oh, I don't know that. Oh, are you being a dumb investigator? Because for somebody who's such a great investigator, you sure play naive. She's married. If you go to her Facebook page, which I'm sure you have, because that photo of her that's 5.5 years old doesn't
Thou
even
shalt
look
not
like
covet.
her anymore.
Thou shalt
And
not covet the neighbor's wife. Hello? Oh, he's such a
what
great Christian man. Oh my God.
and what does that say about her? She's such a great woman. She's
Oh, and
sitting
she's
here
so
talking
glad he's
about
such a
how,
godly man. I'm so glad you're a godly man, Mike. But yet she knows that he would try a relationship with her, knowing she's married. Oh, they're, okay, okay. Well, like attracts like. That's all I'm going to say. I'll just shut up.
did I want to expose all of that? No, I think it's important that people should know. This is the woman, this is the man that is out here. This is the same woman who was mocking me and saying that I was being vindictive and vengeful. No, no, I'm not being vindictive. I'm not being vengeful. I want people to know that if you are going to follow a Christian man into the woods who is supposedly teaching you and telling you about cryptids and things that are out there and trying to expose them and show you the truth, that he himself should be able to look in the mirror and be able to say the truth to himself, and he's lying to himself, and so is she. I can look at myself in the mirror and know who I am. I know my worth. No, I never planned on going down there to do anything other than an investigation, just like the investigation when I went to Ohio and met with Tim. That was what it was. It was a camp out
As
investigation. Just like when I went
as
out to go meet Blake, just like when I went out to go meet you. Those were investigations with other researchers who were invested in what was going on, wanting to share information, wanting to share your knowledge and see what is out there with another person who was willing to have their back, willing to put themselves out there in that position with another person wanting to get information. What terrifies me, absolutely terrifies me, is to think what would have happened knowing now. What would have happened if I would have gotten down to Oklahoma to go out and do an investigation with this man? Would he have gotten scared and run in another direction and literally left me there with nothing but my 9 in my hand and a flashlight to defend myself? Would he have really gotten my back? Because
well,
where I would
can
have gotten his back, where I would have, any person that I go out and I do an investigation with at night or during the day or anything, if I'm going out with a partner as an investigator,
it's
you
just that,
need
and
to
it's
know
professional.
I am there. I have your back. I will defend you. I will protect you as I would hope that you would be able to protect me as well, to the best of our abilities. I'm not going to leave you
Absolutely,
stranded.
I
I'm
wouldn't.
not going to leave you hanging. I am going to make sure that you are taken care of. And that terrifies me. And what is he
Yeah,
going to
I
do?
because I would have never taken you to the place that I took you to if I didn't believe that out of you and trust you, and likewise, because just like I told you, don't go any further right there
Mhm.
because you could slide or
Yeah.
something and it's going to be a drop off. I had your back out there,
I
and
know
I
you
would
were so worried
expect.
that I was going to go too far. But
I was so worried you were going to fall off that cliff right there because it's muddy and slippery. And the next day you could see why, right?
mhm, yeah,
Um, but
it was so beautiful, though. I'm
yeah,
sorry. It was
it
so
is
beautiful out
gorgeous.
there.
I love researching my areas because they are beautiful. They really are. But you know, you asked me some questions in there, and I let you talk, and I hated to say anything about this being my opinion that because I want to make it clear that now that I read that comment that Shell's going to bring you down and Shell's doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. Um, for one, I didn't know any of this stuff until you just made it transparent to me to see that. Um, wow. I have always kept our discussions about him to of the research aspect of it, the investigation, and the falsehoods of it. Um, you and I never gave you an opinion to say you need to get away from that guy, or I never put that kind of opinions on you because it's none of my business. How dare she? She crossed the line with you in many ways throughout that whole messaging period there, even though it was scattered across like a month. She crossed the line many times. And for her to say she couldn't stand me, this lady has never even said hello to me.
Yeah.
She doesn't know the first thing about me. She's never had a discussion with me, never been on my friends list, never been in my group. She doesn't know me. So she's saying she can't stand me, probably solely off stuff that he said. Just like stuff he said to you, trying to make you just like me. And then Dana, which I've been friends with a long time, he even came at her, wanting her to not be friends with me because he wanted to push me out. Because probably when I unblocked him, he could probably clearly see that I am going to call truce on somebody. That's just who I am. And he probably figured I would figure him out because being somebody that had extensive research experience, I could watch his lives and start picking them apart. That's probably why he wanted to kick me off as a moderator too. Think he'd make me mad and I wouldn't come back and watch his live show. Then he had nothing to worry about. So much is fallen into place. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. You have just totally validated everything in my mind that I have literally went over 1,000 times and said, did I have this person wrong to like judge them so harshly? And you know, yeah, I did judge harshly, and now I don't have to sit there and go, maybe I should not been so hard to judge them so harshly so quickly on that hoaxy stuff. Maybe I should, you know, not been so harsh about it. Now, if I know now, if I could say, if I knew then what I know now, oh my gosh. Oh, that I'm sorry. I would have probably been really, really mouthy in that first video that we did. You, yeah. This
And
guy is an asshole.
I have to say the same thing, there and there were there have been many, many times that I said I I struggled going back and forth. Did I jump to conclusions? Was I being over, uh,
Well,
over
you know
exaggerating
what?
things, over embellishing things, over was I just blowing things out of proportion? Was I being a, typical woman to just let my emotions get the better of me and turn things around, and maybe I was being harsh, and maybe I was just jumping the gun and just going through a mood, and I shouldn't have done that. And there were good times. Yes, there were lots of good times. I mean, shoot, I even just said the other night I was on, having a conversation with Travis, and he's like, "What's going on?" And I said, I struggle. I miss my best friend. And I don't know. I mean, yes, I still have these parts where I go back and forth, but then I have to understand that he may have been my best friend,
But you weren't his.
but the only best part about being a friend to me on his aspect was that I was doing his fighting for him. And in the end, when my use ran out, the best thing he could do was to turn the narrative and make everybody look at me like I was a terrible
Being
person.
vindictive and vengeful and yeah, just
He's,
reacting to something that he wanted to say that you wanted him,
no,
but um
I wanted him as a friend.
that
I wanted him as an investigator. I thought going and being able to have a partner who was as vested in researching and doing this stuff together, I thought, man, this is great. In a hot spot, I'd go down, we'd investigate, we'd do things. He had talked about wanting to travel and, all of this stuff, what he wanted to do. And I even said, when you get your son home, I'm pretty much going to be done with this. And he's like, no, you can't. You need to come down here because you're going to do both channels with me. That's what he say. You're going to come down here and you're going to do both channels with me.
well, I remember being put in that group where he said, I can't say verbatim because it's so long ago, but it was something to the effect, Jess, are you ready to move down here with me and go
Yeah.
out in the field with me and stuff? And it wasn't just I, but I remember there
Larry,
was quite Larry Fisher.
Larry called
He
me.
thought you were engaged. He thought you
He
were
called.
engaged at that point. Like it was a, and we all
He's
did.
like,
We all like, what did we miss over the holidays here?
Larry calls
But
me
it
up. He's
just
like, just Larry was. I was just so taken back too. He's like, Jess, I gotta ask you a question. Um, well, you know, I gotta ask, did Mike propose to you? And I'm like, what?
that's what we all kind of thought. I mean,
I
and
said,
I would
Did
say
Mike
because it's not
propose?
my business. Unlike some other people here, I don't cross the line and get into other people's business. Um,
Larry was so cute though
that's
too
so
about it. He's
funny.
like, he
That's so
goes,
funny.
well, he asked you to basically move in. I says, no, I'm like, no, he said, how would you like to come live where I live? And so here's this naive part of me, and I'm reading it, and he goes, well, I'll tell you, when a man makes a proposition like that to a young single lady like yourself, that,
Publicly.
that's usually publicly, that's usually a proposition that would be like marriage. And I'm like, Larry, like I was so taken back, laughing. I'm like,
So
really?
funny.
I'm like, are you old school? Like, how old school are you? And he's like, no, that's like a proposition of marriage. I'm like, no, And I remember I cracked up so hard, and he's like, well, I'm glad I could make you
And
laugh.
Dana was celebrating. She wanted you guys to be the number one couple, and she's calling my phone. And she's ready to throw down a celebration. Did you see it? Did you see it? He's finally gonna he's finally gonna make a righteous woman of her, and he's gonna do things right. And she was just she's all
Well,
excited, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I
Um,
remember
if
calling
you hear
him though.
snoring, my dog is sleeping very
Oh,
hard next to me. I'm sorry.
no, I remember calling him though right after. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you this. You are gonna crack up laughing, Mike." And he's like, "What?" I said, "You wouldn't believe. Larry just called me, and he thought you proposed to me." And he's like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, that message that you left in wide open." Like, I'm cracking up laughing, and Mike didn't laugh. And I was like, "That's funny,
Why did he
right?"
do that? And during that whole
And I'm
time that
like,
he would have been writing that, he was talking to the Sky Barnworley chick, and like sounds like they were like
I,
contemplating having a relationship at the
I
same
don't.
time he did this.
Well,
That's crazy.
I don't I don't even no, I don't know. I can't say one way or the other. I don't know when that happened because I know that was on his Wide Open Adventures, and I thought that was
Well,
I
I
don't
thought it was around the holidays because I thought, oh, is she getting a ring for the holidays? That's what I thought.
no.
That's what I thought. I thought, oh my God, he's gonna propose to her.
Well, I felt bad because after I was laughing because I'm like, "What? That sounds absolutely ridiculous." Um, he almost sounded like he was offended on the phone, and I'm going, "Are you mad?" Like, and I remember that phone call conversation, like, ended up getting cut short, and I was like, "Oh." And I hung up with him, and I'm like,
You didn't type it, he did.
"That was
Weirdo.
weird." Like,
Yeah.
did I take that wrong? I don't know. That was weird. But then I think it was like a week or so later, and I'm thinking back, and now this is my ADHD brain, overthinking, overanalyzing, overthinking, overanalyzing. And I was like, "You used me." He goes, "Well, what do you mean I used you?" I said, "You put that post out on Wide Open Adventures because you knew that it would get Rhonda upset and Rhonda going, and you knew it would draw attention. And so you basically
Oh,
used me
geez.
to incite some type of a reaction from other people and see how it would work. No, 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 that's not how I did it at all. I actually, I wanted you to come down here and do stuff." And I'm like,
But then he starts fighting with you when maybe a week or two later, you say you're going to come down there, and then he's like, oh, no, 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 I can't be out there with a woman. I can't be out there. But
"Mhm."
what? What? Oh my gosh. You know what? This guy, I probably couldn't ride in a car with him because he rides with his left foot on the brake and his right foot on the gas. He would drive me insane. I couldn't drive behind him. I wouldn't be able to drive in front of him. And I definitely couldn't be in the passenger seat next to that dude because I don't like the way he drives.
Well, that's probably why Sarah takes her car when she goes out there to hang out in the woods and watch him, huh? Instead of taking the
Yeah.
same vehicle? Or is that because mom rides in the car with him and then Sarah takes her separate vehicle? I don't know.
Well, if his car had a clutch, he'd be a nightmare for a mechanic. That's pathetic. I'm sorry.
One of the one of
The more you tell me, I'm like, oh my god, how do I be an objective friend and not go,
so
Jess, somebody needed to slap you. Oh
one of the things that I have had to learn and that God has led me to understand, and like I told you. So there's a few things. I'm like, why did I have to go through this? And for a few reasons. I have learned through the last few years, on top of my growth and um, my faith that has grown and my love that has grown for my Lord and Savior. He has taught me so much more. And I'm not saying Mike, I'm saying God through all of this. God has taught me so much more about myself in the last 2 years. I have learned my worth. I have learned my value. I have learned how through God I can take back my life and who I am. I know that I can be an advocate, be an influencer for Christ. And I have learned also the value that I've grown for my love for my Lord and Savior, that with all things in the future when it comes to my friendships and any relationship, whether it's my work relationship, a romantic relationship, or a friend relationship, a family relationship. If God is not the center of that relationship, it is
He's
not a
not serving you.
relationship I want. And it is not one that is going to serve my Lord. And it is not one that is going to bring anybody else closer to Him. And for that, this has been a growing experience for myself. And I am grateful that God has taught me this. Um,
And
but
I'm happy for you in that respect.
it has
Um,
also it has also taught me too that as Christians we need to constantly ask for discernment when it comes to other fellow Christians. Just because a person says they are a Christian does
they
not
gotta
in
walk their
fact
talk.
mean they are Christians.
Yeah, they gotta
They
walk the
may,
talk.
yep, and they may in front of the camera put on a glorious act, but what's behind that curtain? Is it a sexual deviant who has fantasies about cryptids, fellatio, and
Oh God, I've
other
heard about
disgusting
that.
things that are possibly going on? Do fear for any woman that does actually go out into the woods with this individual, because I have heard several women now come forward and have stated that yes, they have heard very similar, same stories that have ended with the same question. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I
What do
have
you think
heard
would
those
happen?
comments from people, and they asked me if he ever asked me if I was approached that way, and thankfully I wasn't because I would have made a stink about that. That's disgusting. But I was going to say this when it comes to being a Christian and walking your talk. I think also what we should all bear in mind when we have friendships when we have relationships, partnerships, anything, all the way across the board. If they want us to do something for them, with them, or whatever, I think what would Jesus do needs to be forefront in our mind. And I think that's probably something that you learned a lot about in this, whatever label you want to put on it you had with him. I don't even know what category any of that falls under. It was just toxic. But I think that a lot of times you did without question because you are such a loyal person. And I think that this has been like a huge learning experience for you, um, not just as a Christian, but as a human
Mm.
and somebody that is big on humanity because you are. And I don't think you give yourself enough credit when it comes to the type of person you are and how much you value humanity, how much you value faithfulness and your faith and all this, all that above. I mean, I think that you were being held down. Yes. Um, let's take Sky Wonderly's words. He was pulling you down like an anchor. You were just getting sucked down, and that's why you didn't laugh like you do now. You weren't happy. You didn't smile as much as you do now. And I can remember sitting through a show with him and doing a show, and you sitting there, and I'm just trying to keep my mind on, the conversation that we're, having, but looking at you going, something is dreadfully wrong with her. And I remember reaching out to you that very evening saying, are you okay? Um, I had no clue you were getting messages like this from Sky Wonderly. I had no clue that all this stuff was just stacking up against you like it was. Um, I know that night is the night that I said, okay, well, I have to ask you a question. And, if you get mad at me, I'm sorry, but I need somebody to ask that's close to him because if you recall, it was, I didn't call it hoaxing. I just said there's things that are going on in his lives that I have questioned and I don't think it's authentic. And that's when, you opened up to me and yeah, the cards kind of fell into place. And then, over that course of that week, I don't even know what was shared between you all or the conversations that you had. But I do know that that night was very hard for you, that you were torn, but you felt like you had to do the right thing. And I think that right there was you putting yourself first for the first time. And I think that's all you could ever do for yourself going forward is put your faith first, put God first, put yourself and family next, and don't do anything for anybody
Mhm.
without asking what would Jesus do.
Yeah. Yep. And I am glad that you said that because that is the one thing, not the one thing, but that is something that if if there is anything that anybody can get from tonight's discussion is like what you had said, and I can. Is that Charlie or is that Gracie?
As Grace was snoring so loud. I'm
Um,
sorry.
no, it's okay. It's
She's
actually
just
it's
getting it
cute.
on over there. I'm kind
It's
of jealous that she has the sleeping ability that she does.
um. If there is anything that anybody can take away from the show tonight, it is this. Like how you had said that I'm a devoted friend. I am. And I will, or have in the past, would do anything that I needed to do for a friend if I felt that they were worth fighting for and that they needed a voice. But I have learned from now on, the first thing I will do, if it is of God, I will fight. I will not go and do anything from now on in my life without first asking, is this of God? And if I cannot for 100% know in my heart and my soul, my core, that it is something that God would want me to do, then I am not doing it. And I just had that discussion last night with another individual when they wanted to do something. And I said, listen, I do not want you to do anything on my behalf just because you feel that somebody needs to step up for me, because I have no problem fighting for myself anymore. And I know Dana has said that I needed to learn how to do that. I am getting to that point where I will fight. I'm getting to the point I will fight for myself.
Well,
But
good.
I told this person, you need to pray first, because I do not want them to do something that they said, oh, I won't feel bad about it. Well, I'm sure you wouldn't feel bad about it. But if you can pray about it first and God says, yes, this is something you need to do, then by all means, God's will be done. But I don't ever want anyone to do something or be persuaded or pushed in a direction to do something because they feel obligated to that individual. The only person anybody should ever feel obligated to do anything for, there's only one that anyone should feel obligated to do anything for, and that's God.
Absolutely.
Above all. Above all.
Absolutely.
And if it's not of God, then it's of the devil. There's, and I know that sounds very cliche, but there is. It's not a gray world. It's black and white. And if it's not something of God, it's of the devil. And
You know,
don't
as
be
as a
fooled.
human, that I try to be a good human, I wouldn't want anybody to go out on a limb for me in a negative way that would dent their soul with
Mm-hmm.
God. I would not ask that of anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I find it completely appalling. And I shared this with you because that very week that me and you had that live and called him out on the hoaxing, and you just you had a few things to say and not a lot of it got said, but that's neither here nor there now. um I recall him sending me, and I think it was actually like as in a group, and then he sent it to me privately too, and it was uh an argument that he was having with his sister Rhonda, and I read it and I was like, oh, it made me nauseous. I mean, the kind of language and sexual talk that you're having towards your sister, I was appalled. And then just late that night, my
Wasn't it something
messages,
along the lines of blister, bleed, or
oh, all kinds of stuff. I'd never seen anything like it in my life.
Yeah,
And
that was
I
one
was
of his
really,
favorite phrases.
yeah, I was really appalled by that. And then later that night, around 2 in the morning, he is blowing up my phone, which he never had any contact with me um, through those couple of months of, where I moderated for him and all that stuff, and did some shows for him. He didn't talk to me. And then at 2 in the morning, he's like, are you awake? Are you awake? And I was like, yeah, what's wrong? What's going on? And I didn't get any reply from him. I'm like, is everything okay? Is everyone okay? Um, no reply. And then the next morning, it's like, did this guy not sleep, or I don't know. But early in the next morning, then he's contacted me again, and he wanted me to reach out and attack his sister over
Mm-hmm.
these messages. And I refused. I just said, I don't know her. I don't know. I don't know what this argument is about. I'm sorry, but no, I'm sorry. I can't. And that was the last thing I ever said to the guy. And then I ended up getting blocked because I went on YouTube with you. And I didn't really care that I got blocked because he was about 2 millimeters from being blocked anyway. I mean, that was pretty appalling what I read. And I have had some knockdown dragouts with my brother. And I will tell you what, he would never speak to me that way and ever be forgiven by me or my family. Um, he would never stoop that low. I mean, we don't even cuss at each other. I mean, we get mad at each other. We may have some words, but family don't talk to family in a disgusting sexual manner like that. That was, oh, yuck.
Yeah,
I
that and
actually, I actually felt sorry for his sister in that regard. I do. But that's what they've been dealing with. God help him. What did his ex-wife go through? I wonder. I think, and no wonder, if that's the kind of talk and stuff that he has with his sister. How did he treat her? How did he treat his ex-wife? And no wonder he's divorced, and no wonder she doesn't want her kid around him. And you know, you know,
I can just imagine. I
I don't want to imagine. I really don't. I mean, wow.
I mean, even the torment, the psychological, mental torment that Rhonda and her husband. I mean, her husband went through too with him. It,
Yeah.
regardless, that's a whole nother topic. Regardless of how long ago any trauma may have happened to him, it's still trauma, and I am ashamed of myself for not saying something to him. I mean, normally I would be the one to say, even in a private conversation with somebody, like, you know what, that's not right. Like, you shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff about people. And I would just sit there and let him go on and on and on. I don't know if it was because I was numb at that point with him and his rants that it was just like, just let him go on. He'll be done, 15, 20 minutes and he'll be done and over with it. And then I'll get to listen to him talk about how he thinks he has cancer and he's dying for the next 3 days. But I mean, that was the kind of stuff that over and over and over. And it's like, do you really need to attack these people? How is this going to help you get your son back? Well, it's not. Then stop. Stop doing this. Stop doing this to people.
The manufactured drama. It keeps it going and keeps. If he can't entertain his audience, well, then he gets his audience with the drama. I
Hmm.
mean, that's why I said his channel needs to have a capital E on it, and it's spelled out entertainment for anybody that enters. There should be no research or investigations or anything like that. Abnormal, yeah, abnormal entertainment. That's what he needs to be. He needs to be AE, Mike, not AI, Mike.
Well, that's yeah. I know I've gotten a little bit of pushback on my channel too, but that's one of the reasons why I kind of changed my channel name to Arcane Adventures, because Arcane is, the unknown, the undiscovered, unexplained, but then the adventures is let's go out and find it. Let's go see. You don't know. Every day is an adventure. Every day is something new, and every day is unexplained. You never know what you're gonna, like we were talking about. You could walk out the front door and be, hit by a car and be done, or you could be out in the middle of the woods and struck by lightning and be done. You never know, but you're not going to find anything by hiding in the shadows, and making things up is not going to help either. So I might not always have I might not always have evidence. I might not always go off trails. I might not always go
But
in
you don't
places
walk
that
in a circle that's like 500 feet in diameter, and that's as far as you go.
no. I do go places, and I do go places by myself, which is a whole lot
Yeah,
more to say
well,
than what some people do.
I will say that you're extremely brave because I told you the hostile place I was taking you. and you've never been there during the daylight, which is something I won't do. I'll go during the day, then I'll go at night. But no, you completely trusted me to guide you out there in the night in a hostile place. You, honey, you rock from side to side. You got them, okay? Don't ever let anybody tell you they're not brass what you're sitting on. They are. And I don't think that guy would have done what you did. I don't think he would have went out there with me in that particular place, knowing the kind of stories I told you, and go out there in the dark, never being there before. And yeah, you were brave. And I don't think that guy has it in him. I think he's a chicken. I think that's why he runs around his vehicle, and I think that's why he doesn't. Makes it look like he's getting off the beaten path, but he really isn't. He just walks in a circle around that beaten path.
I
I've seen
so
that
much.
time and time again. Some of his areas, I can tell you, I can know the entrances like the back of my hand at this point. And I watched him for what, 2, 3 months there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody actually contacted me the other day too, and I had to laugh because I think you had said something afterwards, and I said somebody had contacted me and was like, he walked past the same tree like 3 times, and nobody realized it. Does he just he's just walking in circles? And I told you that you're like, yes, he is. I saw that. And then, was that you? I think had seen something else and said something about marking trails or something, or marking your path. Not you, but him. Was that in another show that he did? Somebody had said something about marking trails.
Oh, no, I think somebody had said that to him, and I laughed and I said to you, I go, well, why would somebody want to or need to mark their trail when they're, within eyeshot of their vehicle and somebody's sitting right there in the vehicle waiting on them? Well, I mean, why would you have to mark a trail if you're not even going down the trail? You're
Or
just,
would it
walking in circles.
I was gonna say, or would it be to mark your trail so that people would know if you actually walked past that same spot like three,
Oh yeah,
four, five
that would totally give himself up. He would totally be like, "Oh, ignore that ribbon. I just tied a yellow ribbon around that oak tree there. Didn't know
uh,
when I'd get back to it. Oh,
oh,
it only took me 3 minutes. It's right there again. Sorry,
somebody's
ignore
coming
that.
out
You
here
didn't
and
see
putting
that.
ribbons all over. Yeah. Or
Yeah, now they're tricking me. They're putting him everywhere."
there was the one time when I was talking to you about, I think it was Tim that actually called him out because he had just walked up to the vehicle. You could see the vehicle in the corner frame of the camera, and then he turned away and he walked
I was
off.
there on that live.
And then he said something about, "Oh, I'm like 20 yards from the vehicle or 100 yards from the vehicle." And I think Tim was
And I
like,
was like, I just seen
"You
the
were
mirror and
just
I just
there.
seen the door.
You were just there." No, I
And
wasn't. No,
I
I wasn't.
seen, I was not a moderator anymore, but I was sitting through that live and I seen, I think it was Tim, was it Tim Wrestler that said that? He said, "Hey, did I just see your vehicle's right there?" And he says, "I'm walking back to my vehicle now." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I just looked at it. You're right there at it." But I'm like, I'm not just saying. I didn't
Yeah,
say anything to you either. I mean, we mentioned it. I mentioned it like what
afterward.
months later,
No,
and I
I
was like, "Oh,
no, I think I did mention it. Well, I think it was like a couple days later or whatever, and I was like, yeah, yeah. And he was upset because Tim called it out. I think Tim called it out in the show or something like that, or afterwards. He's like, people need to stop. Uh, Moderators need to stop mentioning it in the show. They need to if they want to say something afterwards. But oh man, why do they got to call it out in front of everybody? And I'm like,
well, then don't lie. Be transparent."
because you're doing it in front of everybody. Like I got in trouble one time for calling something out too, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Sunshine, aka Janice, was so mad at you for calling that out." And
Oh,
I'm
the
like,
swinging stick. That stick that was moving in the
"Oh, yeah,
wind. And then he goes, "Oh, look at that." And I was like, "Come on, I can hear the wind noise in the phone." And then you go, "Can you go back and just
touch it."
touch that stick?" And
Why
then
did
it
I do that?
fell. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
What did
he
I
did
do?
it. And you did it out loud. So he had to go do it. And then He's like, well, there's no wind or anything. And all you can hear is, through the phone. I'm like, no wind, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And anybody that knows that show, which show we're talking about, if they were to go back, you could hear the inflection in his voice too. And he's like, "Why did I do that? Like,
Yeah,
why?
yeah,
Why
I
did I do
remember
this?
that.
Why?"
It was funny. I had to laugh at that point because, see, at that point, I had already started seeing all those inconsistencies,
I
and
wasn't trying.
I didn't want to say anything to anybody. So I've been watching it, adding it all up, and then I have to sit there and I'm thinking, this was me at the time. I'm thinking to myself, I'm going, man, PRT people has been saying he's a hoaxer. Wow, I think he is a hoaxer. I think they're right. Now I'm seeing what
Speaking
they see because I'm actually sitting and watching it.
speaking of, I just discovered something in PRT News the other day that I would love, love, love to be able to ask Mr. McKee. What in the world was he thinking? Um, like, you hear my daughter? She's so stupid. So, uh, where did I save it? Yeah, go downstairs. I love you. I'm sorry. 1 second. She's sick. Hold on. Okay, so here is something else that I have to show. One of the things that I have to thank PRT. I don't know who posted this originally, if it was an anonymous member, if it was Nellie or Madeline or who it was, but shout out to Paranormal Roundtable. I don't do this very often, but they have managed to collect a lot of stuff on abnormal investigations that I, of course, had not been looking for in the past because I was like blind focused and naive. Anyways, so one of the things that I'm going to show is this. I have to do an image file. Okay, so I'm going to open up this. Um, maybe that don't. Can't really see that. That doesn't work well. I want to do this. We'll do screen share window. There, this is what we'll do. All right. So this, for anybody that can see, is a screenshot. Ow. From. Oh, stop, Junie. This is a screenshot from one of his sit-down lives that he had been doing back when he still had Brooks on. Which I have to say, I'm going to publicly say right here and now, Brooks, I apologize for the things that I had said to you. I realize now why you probably had disappeared from the channel for a while. Um, Probably much like some of the stuff that was going on before the situation had happened with me. You were seeing that Mike, in true narcissistic form, was doing things to push you out and bring other people in, and he did you wrong. And Junie, your claws need clipping. Stop. And I I was much like some of the other moderators that are currently in there. I was fooled thinking as to him being a true to his word kind of person, and you were served an injustice, much like Wendy, much like Lori, Scott, I'm sure Randy, he has used and discarded so many. And I really do pray that future people see what he has done. Um, Another co host he had, Christy, he discarded when he couldn't get his excitement from her. So I apologize,
Like I
Brooks.
said, there's so many people that have a commonality
Mm-hmm.
and have so much in common,
Mm-hmm.
and like none of us even know each other. He
Mm-hmm.
has done the same thing to people over and over and over.
So, so what we're looking at here is a screenshot from when Brooks and him were, when Brooks was co-hosting for him. Why is this important? Billy the Kid. I know for a fact that Billy the Kid was one of his fake accounts because he had done clips off of Abe's shows from his Billy the Kid account. And why I know for a fact, not because PRT had posted those clips as Billy the Kid saying, yeah, yeah, that's Mike. I know for a fact that's Mike. Um, but because he actually then forwarded me those clips and told me to save them and keep them for court, keep them for videos, keep them for posts on channels. And they were as Billy the Kid, and they would be titled with things like, here's where he's calling, or Abe's calling me a pedophile. Abe's making fun of my mom. Abe is, that kind of stuff. Abe's talking about Sarah, or Abe's talking about my kid.
Well,
That was
I
Billy
know
the
for a
Kid. That was
fact,
Mike.
yeah, I know for a fact I seen that Billy the Kid when I was on Abe's show after that falling out. And in
Really?
good faith, I had went to PRT, watched a show with Josh and Abe's show, and just just move all the stuff out. Don't want no more drama. And when I was there talking, I remember seeing this Billy the Kid. And I remember talking to Josh and Josh getting texts and holding up the phone and saying, yeah, Mike's texting me right now. He's got some choice things to say about your show. But Josh never shared what he was saying. I just told him to send me those texts later and he didn't, but whatever, I don't really care. But he was there trolling and he just couldn't stand it that I was giving up truths on him, that he would actually text Josh and think he's on good enough terms with Josh to get me to shut up.
Well,
Like,
here,
isn't that just the? I mean, isn't that some big ones? I mean, really?
big ones or
Wow.
small ones that he's trying to.
Or how about noodleless? He just don't have a noodle in his head.
Well, so here is something that needs to be explained for the people that are seeing this. Like, why is this important? Okay, so here we have Billy the Kid highlighted. He brought it up in his live. So when you bring up during a live stream, when you bring up a post to put it across the screen, it is forever imprinted that way because this is a recording. However, if you go into the live chat replay months later, or um, and look at old chat replays, what you will find is when an individual changes their YouTube name or their YouTube handle or their YouTube icon, it will change
Yeah,
to date.
I don't know because I've never even opened my
Right.
channel for a live.
So this is what I'm trying to explain. So it will change. So anybody that has changed their name. So for instance, when I was following PRT in 2023, um, my original YouTube handle had been, and you're going to laugh at me because they all called me names like this, but my original handle was my Xbox handle. that I had set up when I was first playing Xbox and had to set it up. And the way they would do it is they'd be like a description in an animal or a description in an object or something like that. So my handle was bicolor hippo, which is ironic because they would always call me hippopotamus. But
I am
anyways,
laughing. I am laughing. Yeah, that's funny.
Um, so my handle was bicolor hippo. So if you go back and look at the PRT shows from when I was still chatting and I was a paid member over there and a Patreon member and stuff, they actually have me come up over there as bicolor hippo. And I think it was the image of Junie in his little lion's mane thing, but it says bicolor hippo. So here in this live chat, up when he pulled up the comment to put on screen at the time, it was Billy the Kid. Now, I wouldn't have known this at the time that that was him. I would have never gone back to look at old shows uh, to even see that he had done this. So obviously, either he is logged in under two accounts, which is something he does when he is live, anyways, because he says he can't go on live with his computer. So he has his phone do the camera and whatever, whatnot, back and forth. Billy the Kid, comment. Well, if he's on the show, who's running his Billy the Kid account? He pops the Billy the Kid thing up there. Mike, I am from the other side and I have info emailing. Ow, Junie. Ow.
Emailing you now.
Yeah. Ow. Okay. No, you're done. Off. Emailing you now. This is one of his bluff tactics. He loves to bluff.
Oh my gosh, he's a game player.
Mhm.
He likes to play games.
I'm from the other side. I'm emailing you information now to try and get
From the
PRT.
other side. What does he
Yeah,
mean? Look, from the other
PRT.
side.
PRT.
Oh, so he's like pretending.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
He's trying
Oh,
to
it's
make
so crazy.
them think that, oh, somebody from my group is somebody from PRT is giving him information. Really? What's that all about? Okay. Well, here we go. Ow, Junie. So now we're going to come down here. J. So what that means is the actual YouTube name starts with a J. So for the most times, okay, see, like if you don't have a picture icon, how it
Yeah.
says Rebecca Curtis, hers comes with an R because her
Mm-hmm.
account would starts with an R. Same with
Mm-hmm.
Susan Northrup. Okay, Teresa Varney, T. D. Demon Bigfoot Man. There was a mistake here. When he changed his name over, he only changed the at symbol. He didn't change the actual YouTube name. So obviously it's still a J. Mike, I'm from the other side. I have info emailing you now. It's the exact same thing. That is the one that he brought up with the little envelope. Billy the Kid, B. Well, that means this was the original one that he was at the time posted. At the time that PRT took this screenshot, there was a name that began with a J. They had then changed it to Diamin Bigfoot Man. However, this is uh, a bit irritating. So we're going to go to up and we're going to bring up this one. And share.
So,
Hold on.
how many accounts does the dude have?
What I said in one of the original ones, how many does he actually have? I don't know. What does he normally do? he has about 4 or 5, 6, whatever, and he'll change the name and then just use that same one, and that's where he screws up. Here we go. J. Diamond, Bigfoot Man. Best investigative channel out there. Mike's boots on the ground are second to none. I stand with you. Uh, they're a moderator
He's
as of
talking to
2/22/26.
himself?
Oh, wait. Here we
Oh
go.
my God. This
Joe.
guy.
Joe. Joe, the
I
moderator.
see that.
Yeah. Did you know that Joe was somebody who was actually kicked out of one of my channels for trolling? While
He was
Mike
trolling his best friend? Are you kidding me?
while Mike was sitting there coming in and out of my boots on the ground investigations, he
He
would
was
he
trolling
would
you.
he would say, "I'm getting kicked out. These trolls are coming in and there's nothing I can do. I'm getting kicked out." But
I
yet, why
remember
was
that
it
because I
he
was
was
following
the
you, and that was before I was following him, and I was there when that happened.
why was he always the only one that was getting booted out of my lives? And why was it that when he was getting booted out was when the trolls were popping in? And here I'm like, Mike wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous. Why would he troll me? I'm like his number
And
one
let me
supporter.
guess. Let me guess. When you brought it up to him, he blamed PRT, didn't he?
That they were mass reporting him and kicking him out, and it had to be PRT. But Diamond Bigfoot Man is now one of his moderators. So my guess is that that would be either his sister, his daughter, or somebody within the household because Joe
This
was his account. It's not like it would have been an account that he would have just given to a friend. It
no,
would have
this
been
makes
somebody
so
within the
much
household.
sense and why he wouldn't want you to go to Oklahoma because his family, he wouldn't, no wonder he didn't ever want you to talk to his family and the women in his family because they probably figured he didn't tell them that he's lying to you. So he's probably afraid they would out him right then and there, or you'd find out all these truths. You would find out all the truths. He couldn't have that happen, or
I,
we would be doing videos just like we're doing right now. And he wouldn't want that. That
you
makes
know,
perfect sense now.
if he would have been honest, if he would have been forthright, and he would have been the godly Christian man that he says he was, or said he was, we wouldn't be in this position at all. There would be nothing to argue. There would be nothing to say, nothing to do. But because he likes to play games, he likes to manipulate, he likes to cause trouble, he likes to cause problems, and he likes to turn people against other people. What was it that you asked me the other day? And I can't remember how you would worded it. And I was like, I had to stop and actually think about it. You had asked me if there was anybody what about him. I can't remember how you said it. Was there anybody that he actually what? Do you remember what you said?
I, I don't remember what exactly we would have been talking about. I don't.
You said, was there anybody that he actually
Oh,
truly
I said, is there any? It was something like, is there anybody that he doesn't have like drama with that he's not like working against someone else? I mean, is there anybody that he actually is loyal to? Is there? I don't remember how I worded it, but it was like,
is there anybody that he does actually like and care about? That's what
yeah,
you said.
something like that. Yeah, it was.
And I
Yeah,
said,
there's some.
yes.
Yeah, loyalty to anybody.
Is there anybody that he does actually care about? And I said, yes. The only one that he cares about is the one at that particular moment in which they benefit him in what he is doing and his end goal. And as soon as that benefit is over, they are disposable and he no longer cares about them.
Clearly,
Yes.
clearly, and still, even at that, he doesn't even care about the people that he is using, because the whole time that here I'm doing show after show for this guy, trying to help him with his channel, he was doing all this nasty stuff and talking terrible behind my back. But yet here I am being nice to him, not knowing any different, and just going along. And he didn't care. He could care less. It was just whatever benefited from he benefited from that.
Hmm.
He don't care about anybody but himself.
There are many people on YouTube and many influencers and many, especially in the paranormal, cryptid, research type community, that have I've especially have discovered that the evil of this entire field, the
I know.
demonic darkness that oversees, you can only fight, you're a soldier fighting a war. Sooner or later, you know you're not you're not going to be impervious to some type of PTSD and the battles that come from it. You're not
Oh God,
going
I
to be
know.
able to just avoid in the long run. Sooner or later, it's going to take its toll on you. And if you don't put up the protection and you put on the armor of God and the shield and the sword, sooner or later the demonic entities and the darkness and the evil that is in this field running rampant is going to overtake. And
Yeah,
there are
you can't let it consume you.
there
That's
mhm.
why I take hiatuses from it, because you have to.
Yeah, there are too many people that go into this research wanting to get answers, and sooner or later, if they aren't going protected, they are overcome with it. And it is important for anybody, whether you are watching videos or even discussing it. I mean, you, we both know
Yeah,
even these discussions late at night can
bring
have
it on.
bad things, and it is important to stay prayed up, stay protected, um, and don't go into this. I mean, unfortunately, you don't want to go into any of this alone. You need to make sure that you do have backup. You do have somebody that you can trust that is also a believer and knows God and can help keep each other protected, because otherwise the evil will
You think,
consume you.
yeah, you keep thinking on it and dwelling on it, and it'll come. I was going to say, as it, completely as a joke. The next time you come down, we should just sit in my living room and have this conversation about all this dark stuff, and then you could just experience it all. You could just, you can
I
leave
kind
the curtains open, and you can listen to it hit the roof, and you can experience it all, Jess. And then
I
then
kind of
then
did
I'm gonna say,
experience.
go to sleep, Jess. Get a good night's sleep, Jess. And yeah, I bet at 7 o'clock in the morning when it's getting daylight, your eyes are about to go to sleep, because yeah, that's how it can get around here. It's
Well,
crazy.
what did I say? It was probably about what, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning that
Yeah,
there was.
there's activity at my house. You cannot deny that.
Oh no, can't. That was definitely quite interesting. Quite
I know
interesting.
there's a
But
lot of people out there that said, "Oh no, she's full of it. She's got nothing going on." Yeah, yeah. Come walk a mile in my shoes.
right.
I'll give it up to you. You know, I'll sell the house at what it's worth, and you can have it. Bye.
Well, but I will be. I am going down. What? Not this weekend. Next. Yeah, the weekend after Easter weekend, right? Yeah,
The 18th, I think.
18th. Yes, be down on the 18th. I don't know when this is going to air. Um, might
I
have to
think we're
just
gonna
do
go
a.
to the swamp. I've got to get you to the swamp,
I want to go to the swamp. Definitely want to go to the swamp.
but we can't go there. If you come down on Friday night, we can't go there that night because you, honest to God, to safely do it, you have to see it like just before dark before we go, and then turn around and come back when it's a little later. But I don't want you going in there at all without seeing it in the daytime. It is way more dangerous than where we were at before. You've
Okay.
got to see it during the day. So that could be a Saturday night thing. And then we could do something else on Friday night, another location. I mean, God, I know
Well,
all kinds.
I kind of want to go back down by those bridges.
Oh, all the bridges in all this area is crazy, like for
Yeah.
miles.
Oh, look at this beast. Oh,
It was like whiskey. Him and whiskey could be
look at
buddies.
big belly.
Look at the belly. I was just gonna say he's got a whiskey belly. Him and Whisker are about the same size.
He just lets me rub. He's like,
I
yeah.
was, that's how whiskey is.
Look at his little paws.
Oh, he does his paws just like Whisk too. Oh, what a doll, baby.
He's just living it up. Such a good baby.
You know, you really are blessed to have a cat like that, and so am I, because they don't come a dime a dozen like that. They don't.
He's a big
Not
teddy
that
bear.
pliable,
Yeah.
not that lovable.
He's like, why'd you put me down?
I know I had to, well, I muted for a while because Gracie's snoring. And then I went in the kitchen and I was met with whiskey, like you were fighting off Junie. I was fighting off whiskey. And I was like, oh, now he's yelling because he wants more food. And here it is midnight. No, you're not getting food. You've had food all day. And so then I ran out of the kitchen and I'm back with a snoring dog. There's
Yeah.
nowhere quiet to go in my house.
Yeah. I think he's trying to tell me it's bedtime, but
Well, girlfriend,
I
we need to
had
close this out in
fun.
some way.
Yeah.
We
I
need to
had,
close this out in some way. Think we should close it out with a prayer?
yes. Let's do that. You wanna say a prayer?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do that. Well, for what it's worth, Jess, I think that this has been a very enlightening recording, um, at least for me. And I hope it has for you too. I hope that maybe I come across with some opinions that may have helped you see for yourself how far you've come. And I think I think the best thing to do is just drop it right here, and maybe we should pray for everyone. Not
Yes.
just not just not just the people that are being, you know what, let's just pray. Let's do it.
Okay.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy
Hallowed be
name.
thy name.
Thy
Thy
kingdom
kingdom
come,
come,
thy will be
thy will
done
be done
on earth
on
as it is
earth
in
as
heaven.
in heaven.
Give us this
Forgive
day our
us
daily bread.
and
Bless
forgive
those
us
and
trespass
forgive those who trespass as
against
we
us,
forgive those who trespass against us.
and lead
Lead us
us
not
not
into
into temptation,
temptation,
but deliver us from
but from
evil.
evil. For
For
thine
thine
is the
kingdom and the power and the
and the
glory
glory
forever and
forever.
ever. Amen.
Amen. And Lord, we're going to ask you in your righteous way that only you can do, to put your hands on those that need your guidance, that need to open up to you. and let your glory come into them so that they do better and make better choices and not hurt people, because at the end of the day we all want to be as close to you and to be as righteous as we can in our lives and as close as we could have the guidance that you would have us lead a life that we want to be, and that is like you. Please come into those lives. Please help those that have been hurt. Please help everybody that needs prayer in this world. Everybody in this world, Lord, not just these cryptid people, not just these diabolical types, these drama queens and kings that got to have these glass slippers. We're asking for the whole world, Lord. We want your loving hands, your healing hands on all of us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right. All right. I'll end this. Good night, everybody. God bless.
All right.